Guys, Hytale's end was announced, but it's rising again like a phoenix. It rose from the ashes and was finally released in January 2026, with many people already calling it the successor to Minecraft, like Minecraft 2.0. Relax as I guide you through the story, its creation, promise, end, and rebirth shared in this video. In December 2018, a game trailer was released that would shake up the Minecraft community. Nothing more, nothing less than Hytale, a major sandbox role-playing game with the promise of going head-to-head with the giant Mojang. It got millions of views in just a few days, reaching an impressive 61 million today. Back then, YouTubers worldwide reacted to the trailer. Since then, strong promises and rumors spread that this game would mark the end of Minecraft. The excitement was so great that Hytale won the Golden Joystick's Most Anticipated Game of the Year award. But as we all know, too much hype and not enough reality is the recipe for disappointment. Time went by and the game still didn't come out. But maybe you're wondering why a game that at first seems like just a copy could have so much relevance and so much hype. Well, that's because this game wasn't made by just anyone. Created by Hypixel Studios, the world's largest Minecraft server, with a skilled team, the 2018 trailer amazed everyone. The version of Minecraft we had back then was very different from today's. The game would be far better, featuring improved graphics, smarter NPCs, new quests, bosses, challenges, native tools, server creation, and much more that was unimaginable in 2018. Anyone more interested soon realized this was a battle between the major players. Yes, our blocky game has a set of rules and guidelines called the End User License Agreement, which is constantly updated every year. In 2014, a new rule blocked paid microtransactions on Minecraft servers, which significantly impacted those who relied on them for income. Hypixel Studios, perhaps feeling envious and aiming higher, in 2015 began the Hytale project, announced in 2018 and set for a 2021 release. It wasn't just a simple game, it was something big. However, this independent challenge to Mojang didn't last long. In 2019, Hypixel Studios partnered financially with Riot Games, the company behind League of Legends, which invested millions to support Hytale. But then, in April 2020 came the bombshell. Riot fully acquired Hypixel Studios. Many were shocked that the indie studio behind Hytale now belonged to Riot. While this meant unlimited resources, it also brought some fear. Would the original vision remain? Back then, the devs reassured everyone, and Riot announced Hypixel Studios would still operate independently, but now with their full support. And in fact, the team grew, going from 30 in 2018 to more than 40 and then 100 in the following years. Everything seemed to be on track to actually become a reality in 2021 and become one of the biggest releases for the community. But however, nevertheless, 2021 arrived and there was no release or beta. Instead, Hypixel Studios posted a statement, throwing cold water on everyone. They admitted that they still had years of work ahead. And what was the reason? Well, because the scope had increased a lot. Once a niche proposal, it became a global gem, expanding across PC, console, and mobile platforms. Along with remaking the game engine, what was planned for C# and Java on PC was now being redone in C++, allowing console and mobile to play together at the same time. This engine swap would boost performance and simplify future modifications. And so, even though it made some sense, promise after promise, 2019 went by, then 2020, then 2021, and there was no beta, not even a release date. Nothing remained. In 2022, they posted another dev blog confirming they were still rebuilding the engine in C++, which was taking much longer than expected, and several tough decisions. They said it was the right technical choice, made possible by Riot's funding. For the community, even though it was justified, the hype was already fading. And that's when, after 2022, communication pretty much stopped, with fewer and fewer updates coming out, fewer and fewer screenshots, fewer and fewer blog posts or new videos. And well, my friends, from 2024 to 2025 we got close, and even literally to the end, and this chapter is quite interesting. Behind the scenes, a major internal conflict was happening in the Hytale project. Riot wanted a top multi-platform product as the studio owner, while Hypixel had their own plans. As we've seen with the Tower of Babel, when a team lacks a common language, things eventually fall apart. That's what happened here. In fact, a former information technology leader of Hytale, known as Dev/Null, even made a comment at the time saying, "What could go wrong?" Hiring new leadership that views the original team as incompetent just causes the project to go in circles until it fails. That harsh but accurate comment revealed deeper internal problems than the community realized. Another former developer named Psycho also agreed with this view, being even more specific. He basically said that systems that were already far ahead of Minecraft at the time were completely reinvented and remade to be even better, in quotes, and it resulted in nothing. A frustrated team had to redo everything from scratch due to a minor project change from Riot. And well, if you happen to be a programmer, if you're studying information technology in college, leave a comment below. In other words, how hard is it to change the entire language of a game? Because honestly, I imagine it's hard, but I can't imagine how hard. In soccer terms, what would that be? Like Cuiabá hiring Messi? Anyway, what we do know is that these problems and these cracks ended up throwing away years of work. To top it off, former animator Ninja Charlie T, who made a game trailer, shared a sad fact. There was an internal rule to only show in trailers what actually existed in the game. The first trailer, released in 2018, followed this rule by being rendered in-game with existing tools. In 2018, we already had a nearly finished game, far ahead of Minecraft at the time. But, as he said, many tools lost support due to the new engine direction, so everything we found amazing was lost with these changes. In short, there was excessive ambition, needless changes, and producers trying to make their mark instead of finishing what was already progressing. And then, in 2025 came the news that no one expected. On June 23rd of that year, out of nowhere, Hypixel Studios released a bombshell announcement. The development of Hytale was officially cancelled and the studio would be shut down. And the news obviously made headlines on all the gaming websites, with several headlines like that. After 6 years since the announcement trailer, with 61 million views, a game inspired by Minecraft is cancelled and the studio is shut down. It just seemed unbelievable. In their farewell, they admitted Hytale grew too ambitious as the vision expanded and genre standards rose each year. And that, even after a major engine reboot, the team realized that Hytale still wasn't at the level it needed to be. It was basically a cold shower, because all the clickbaits involving Hytale boiled down to it being a new Minecraft, to being the game that would surpass Minecraft. As expected, the community quickly began a witch hunt to find who was to blame, but I don't think anyone specific was at fault. Many criticized Riot, but by then the company had invested about $75 million with no return. In short, internal conflicts caused Hytale's unfortunate end, yet just days after its cancellation, while people mourned, hope emerged. On August 13, 2025, Hypixel's co-founder and Hytale creator made headlines by proposing to buy Hytale back from Riot Games. The guy basically said if Riot won't do it, let the creator take over. If you can't do your job, let me handle it. That's how Simon, with a few dollars and a dream, pursued them. On November 17, 2025, Simon confirmed repurchasing Hytale's intellectual property. Yes, the news came in all caps, with the official Hytale website saying, "Hytale is saved." Simply the triumphant announcement of resurrection, just like a phoenix. And in the statement, Simon says clearly, "We have acquired Hytale. We are independent again and returning to the original vision for the game." They also thanked the company for making this possible. But from now on, if necessary, they would fund the development out of their own pockets for the next 10 years. Yes, 10 years of personal funding guaranteed. Yeah, if even Simon hasn't gotten over his ex and bought her back, why haven't you gotten back with yours? And my friends, he wasn't messing around. Simon revealed that he had already rehired more than 30 original Hytale developers and was still bringing back key people. The old guard, just like the Avengers, came back to pick up exactly where they left off before all the chaos. And obviously the most important decision, to completely abandon the unfinished multi-platform engine and return to the original engine from the trailer. And man, from that point on, Simon started to make his presence felt, throwing out several strong statements like, "We prefer to focus on making a great game first instead of a perfect engine, and also without risk, no Hytale." He went all in, called the bluff, and risked everything, buying back a project, rehiring an old team, and returning to the old engine without any guarantee of success. Investing millions of his own money, he sparked excitement in the community, but now a new chapter begins. Okay, Hytale was saved, but so what? Well, my friends, in the same week pretty much, on Hytale's official channel, the guys released a 16-minute gameplay video giving us more of the game we've waited at least 7 years for. And well, watching the gameplay itself, I think we still have the same impression as when we watched the trailer back in 2018. Yes, it's a game similar to Minecraft, but since it's made by people with years of experience, it has many improvements. In the video, when the player presses F5 to switch to third person, the animation appears much smoother. An animation that, if it had been released in 2018, would have been a hit. One of the most popular Minecraft Bedrock add-ons enhances character animations and movement, and there's even more to it. The combat mechanics are really cool, with a bow that shoots 3 arrows, with an axe and sword that spin, that rotate, that shoot little lightning bolts, and so on. We also see dungeons, maps, forests, and several new items that are slightly ahead of Minecraft 2026 and far beyond what we had in 2018. If he had released this in 2018, who knows what Mojang would have done. The reception of this 16-minute pure gameplay video was very positive, proving skeptics who doubted the game's existence wrong. And it wasn't just him, because the next video was a video showing the game's own native tools, in which, as we already knew, one of Hytale's promises was to be much more open for those who enjoy making mods, textures, or animations. The next video was a 27-minute gameplay of creative mode, and obviously, nobody here likes creative mode. This video is worth watching for its interesting mechanics created by people who clearly played the game and noticed things missing. For example, there are script brushes, which are ready-made tools you can use to create mountains, paths, or procedural ruins just by dragging and dropping. And they also showed a quick settings menu for creative mode where you can natively change the flight speed, physics, and so on, which adapts according to the tool you're using. And man, there's even a kind of schematic browser and editor so you can do all this inside the game itself. So these are native tools that will really help those who actually play and work with the game. Man, these are truly endless mechanics. We're going to have to relearn a lot, really a lot, because there are so many new items that we had no idea could even be possible inside Minecraft. And of course, my friends, that's the good news. That principle, that promise back in 2018 of being a game that would listen to the community, of being a game made for the community, really seems to be becoming a reality. Although Minecraft didn't listen much, it took a community member to make the audience feel heard. And our dear Simon really wasn't kidding around, because just 10 days after he bought the game back, he already announced Hytale's early access release for January 13th, 2026. He confirmed the coolest part. Anyone could run their own servers, create custom content and mods in Hytale right from launch. Honestly, iMine Super Lazone was impressed by Simon's entrepreneurial side. He truly went all in. He doesn't know if he'll get back the millions he spent, but he's determined to succeed. He also emailed all the Hypixel YouTubers. If you're a YouTuber with the YouTuber tag on Hypixel's server, in Minecraft you received an email from Hytale saying your nickname would be reserved, you could play and create content. That guy is a genius. He's recruiting top Minecraft creators. His server is the world's largest for his dream project, Hytale. Some foreign YouTubers shared spoilers, screenshots, and exclusive videos to promote the game and show support for its concept. And a few days ago, another 7-minute gameplay video came out, updating us about the player versus player multiplayer mode. It's basically a frantic, intense video of combat between Simon and another developer. And we can see a very different movement, a combination of new items and weapons, and maybe even player versus player without cooldown. Just like it was in 1.8 where you clicked and hit or clicked until your finger gave out. This gameplay didn't show much we didn't expect, but it clearly showed the impressive quality of a game that's serious. And well, Hytale versus Minecraft. Now that Hytale is officially released, what can we expect from our beloved blocky game? Well, my friends, I confess that I personally got very excited about Hytale, as you probably noticed throughout the video, but honestly, I still stick with Minecraft. Hytale does have the potential to shake up the sandbox genre. It will stir up the community and bring new aspects, but honestly, there's just no way. When Fortnite became more popular and hyped than Minecraft, eventually one declined while the other rose again. As always, the game's community is really strong, it's very consistent, and it's no wonder it's been around for over 10 years. Obviously, no Minecraft copy like craft building can compare to Hytale. But it's not just today that there have been many promises to take down our game, and it still stands strong. Not only that, I think Minecraft transcends. Recently, I saw a popcorn vendor at the park with Steve-themed packaging. Stores like Riachuelo or Renner all have Minecraft clothes, and there are so many YouTubers now, like Authentic, Resende, there's Authentic's Egg, there's Authentic's Underwear. Oh, that's nice. So, I don't know, man, maybe it's a bit of nostalgia, a bit of longing for the past, but that's my prediction, right? Elmine's prediction, not Hytale. Remember that. I'm Elmine, not Hytale. If Hytale gets hyped, what happens to Elmine? Will Elmine go hungry? I'll have to make El Hytale or sell street popcorn, but seriously, Hytale will generate hype and help new creators like Free Fire did. Still, the hype will eventually fade. Minecraft being irreplaceable remains. Still, it's a gamble. We don't even know if the game will succeed. Riot said the game wasn't ready or global, so they couldn't launch it. But Simon insisted and said he'd buy and relaunch it. As he said, no risk, no Hytale. Like the saying, no risk, no Porsche. In life, we must always take risks. We need to be bolder, but success isn't guaranteed. We can't be sure if this game will succeed or last, as it might peak early and then decline. But anyway, that doesn't matter. This year is a World Cup year. I dreamed that Grand Theft Auto 6 was released. I dreamed that I was dating, so like I'm really looking forward to the next chapters. If you've watched this far and aren't following me on Instagram, please do. Selmean77. This video turned out great.